Often in your comments you are asking when the part 2 of the Mazda video. So in part 1 I found out that the reason for a strange working engine was a crack in the crankshaft. So I need to disassemble everything to take off that broken crankshaft. So this is part 2 on the way of removal broken crankshaft. 6 hex to unscrew this pulley. You can hold with a 21 mil socket. And take off auxiliary belt. You will need locking pin to lock tensioner of the auxiliary belt. 6 mil. Then drop it in the hole of the tensioner and rotate tensioner clockwise until this pin will lock the tensioner in this spot of the tensioner. Next, take off crankshaft pulley. And maybe you will notice some leakage from the oil seal, from the crankshaft oil seal. Of course, you need to jack up the engine because you will have to take off engine mount. 17. Bullshit. Again. And now you will have more space to remove auxiliary bolt tensioner. It's 10mm socket or wrench to undo 2 nuts and 1 bolt of the tensioner. And you need, of course, remove locking pin and then undo lower bolt. Here it is. Now I can easily remove this tensioner. Just lift up engine high enough so you can easily remove tensioner. Next step is removal of the timing cover, and you're gonna need 10 and 12 and 14 sockets. And these bolts have different lengths, so maybe you want to mark them before you unscrew. Also detach camshaft sensor. And 1 bolt is behind idle pulley, so you need to take off this pulley using 14mm socket. Next, using 10mm socket or wrench, take off crankshaft position sensor. And when you undo all the bolts of the timing cover, you can now separate it from the block. There are some special places for this procedure. And oops. Here it is. All those bolts have different sizes, so be careful when you install them. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. And this is how you can apply sealant on the timing cover on those places. This is for sealant, also this one, this hole, this, and outside. Now we can set up engine on the timing marks. Camshaft timing mark is this big arrow pointing on 12 o'clock. Sometimes there is additional balancer chain guide, but it depends on the period of manufacture, so don't worry if you don't find it on your engine. And here it is, crankshaft timing mark for the main timing chain, and in this position pin for the crankshaft pulley will be on 12 o'clock. That means that cylinder 1 is in TDC, top dead center, and balancer chain drive gear alignment mark will be on the right side, and in this position colored links on the balancer chain usually will not match with the pin alignment mark on the sprocket. I show you why is that during the installation. Now you need to hold crankshaft gear to undo central bolt, and it's 21mm socket. And I measure amount of extension of the tensioner plunger. Next you need to press, secure and remove timing chain tensioner. And just for example I will show you in here inside to unlock, and then press inside until the gap will show in, and you can lock this tensioner. And you lock it with a screwdriver. Undo 2 bolts, 10mm socket. I decided not locking this tensioner and take it off as it is. Nice and gentle. And now this tensioner also go off. 10mm socket, and it locks in this place, and 8 hex to undo all these bolts of the timing chain guides. To undo, this is 12. On the top you need a 12mm socket to undo bolts of the timing chain guide. So this is the chain. And you will be able to see alignment marks for camshaft gears. It's two dots on the right side and one on the left. By holding exhaust camshaft with 27mm range, you can undo camshaft sprocket. And without this sprocket, camshaft gears alignment marks will be looking like that. For now, I will skip part of the engine removal, disassembling, assembling, just to complete this guide of the timing chain replacement. So removal, disassembling and assembling engine will be in the next part, maybe 3, maybe 4. Check alignment marks of the camshaft gears before installation of the sprocket. So install camshaft sprocket. And just to show alignment markings for the timing chain, I will install crankshaft sprocket, but then I will remove it because I need to install first balancer chain. So this is set up for the timing chain of the crankshaft and camshaft. Mark on the left should be on the edge of the cylinder head for camshaft gear alignment and crankshaft gear alignment. Timing mark. This one on this gear. In this position, pin for the crankshaft pulley will be on 12 o'clock. And also key on the crankshaft will be on 12 o'clock. And that's TDC for the first cylinder. Pin for the balancer chain will be on the right side. And this is not correct position for the installation of the balancer chain. And colored links on the balancer chain will not match with alignment marks. So to install balancer chain 100% correctly, piston in cylinder 2 must be in TDC, top dead center. Then alignment pin will be on the left side, and that is correct position for this alignment pin of the balancer gear. So now to know in which position is this piston in second cylinder, you can use screwdriver or indicator. Then rotate crankshaft anti-clockwise direction, just a quarter of turn because some of the valves will be still open and they won't let crankshaft to rotate, so you need to rotate also camshafts to close those valves. Basically, you will notice when you rotate crankshaft, it will stop and you won't be able to rotate it anymore. Then you rotate crankshaft backwards a little bit and then rotate camshafts. So camshaft lobes will be on top in cylinder 2. These two must be on top. Then you rotate crankshaft in clockwise direction, and this goes up and stops in TDC, in top dead center. So this pin is on this side. Key for the crankshaft sprocket will be on the 6 o'clock, and also this one tooth will be on 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. So balancer chain have these two colored links that you need to align with the markings on the sprockets. You can mark alignment arrow on the balancer sprocket, so you will know where it is during the installation and later when you rotate engine. And now you can install balancer chain with sprocket, because if you install sprocket first, you won't be able to install chain. Now you can also paint this one. Install on it. And then install on the balance shaft. And use some small amount of the thread locker. Make sure everything in place. And just to make sure that everything is correct, you can count these links. It must be 11 of them. Between these two, color it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The name of the guy. And tight this bolt. Hold. So this is set up for this chain. If you want to do this. Or maybe you was wondering why the markings on the chain does not match with markings on the sprockets. Also, alignment of the balance shaft over there. Straight line. These two holes in the balance shaft. Now set up piston in the first cylinder in TDC. So you need to rotate. And if you feel some resistance, go back a little bit, rotate camshafts, and these two marks aligns. It will be looking like this for top of the camshaft lobes. Slowly rotate crankshaft clockwise a little bit more, and you need to notice moment when screwdriver goes down. It means piston 1 is passing TDC, so you need to stop. As you can see, when you set cylinder 1 in top dead center, colored links may be in these positions. And this one is straight. This will be a little bit offset, but when you install tensioner, everything will back in place. If you don't want to do this stuff with second cylinder in TDC and all this, you can just put your own markings, then copy those markings on the new chain, and that's B. Very good. New tensioner, new guide, some fresh oil on this bolt and Loctite. Make sure that this surface of the tensioner is good, no damage on it. Just don't pull this pin yet. Do not release this tensioner. This one goes here. And this is not correct balancer chain guide for this engine. This one is correct. New tensioner. Also check surface for damage or anything. Also, don't remove this pin before you install this whole chain and everything else. Pay attention to the surface of this gear. This is where the sealing is running on it. Main timing chain also have this colored links for alignment on the sprockets. So one goes here and one goes in here.
There should be 25 links from colored link on the camshaft sprocket up to colored link on the crankshaft, so the colored link on the crankshaft will be 25th.
Install upper timing chain guide and tight bolts using 12mm socket. 12mm socket. Timing chain tensioner guide. And it's really not bad idea to lubricate all those guides for timing chain and balance chain. $8mm hex. And final boss of these guides. This side. Oh, like this. I don't know. Oh my god, I don't know. No, it's only in one position. This position. Tight bolts. And this is some tightening torques for the tensioners, guides, and some sprockets. Check all alignments. There should be 25 links. If you count from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 25 will be this one. In between, if everything is correct, chain. Guides, these grooves. Okay. Now we can remove this locking pin. Remove this. Everything in place, it's good to go. rotate everything twice. If you forget something and you need to loosen this tensioner, you need to push this ratchet up with screwdriver and push tensioner in this direction. Now you can apply sealant on the timing cover, and this diagram is showing how to apply sealant on the timing cover. This is how it looks like. Then mount timing cover on the engine, and maybe for you it will be easier to install timing chain cover without oil seal for crankshaft. And if you will do it like I did, you maybe want to be more accurate when you install timing cover. As you notice, these bolts have different length, so I mark with the green paint shorter ones. Short bolts. And those bolts without paint are longer ones. Without paint, long bolts. Now torque them down. These bolts are different, and it's 14mm socket and different tightening. And then it's time to install cylinder head cover, and just follow these steps. And of course you will need to bleed fuel system. You can do it with a hand pump. And when you press hand pump, it will blow out all the fuel with air through this pipe. You can connect some hose on the return line and put it in some cup, and you will see bubbles coming out. And you need to do all this stuff with priming fuel into the system, because on this car there is no electric fuel pump. So when you start the engine and there will be no fuel in the fuel system, you can simply kill all injectors and high pressure fuel pump. Also, to build up oil pressure in system faster, I will crank engine without injectors. So this. So now I will check oil level. It was full before I cranked the engine, and now it's low, almost low. So you know that oil pump is pumping oil. It's about 5.5 liters I have added, and I will add some more. So add more oil. Check level. And of course you need to clean all the injector bores before you install injector back in place. New Cooper washers. Still injectors. Now all clamped in pieces. Install high pressure pipes, tie them by hand, and only then torque down the injectors. By doing so, you will have no problems with the leaking pipes. Yes, from both sides. That's it. And do the same for each. I disconnect high pressure pipe of the first injector, then through this pipe, with help of the hand pump, fill common rail tube with fuel, then slacken nuts of the pipes on each injector, wait until air come out from each of them and torque them down. Fit first high pressure pipe back in place, but don't tie the nut so the air can come out. Then, without connecting plugs to injectors, crank the engine so trapped air come out from the pipe of the first injector, and when only fuel without air will flow, tie the nut on injector, crank engine one more time, then plug in connectors of the injectors and start the engine. And I have some low charge on the batteries, so engine wasn't turning as fast as it should, and you can see fuel with bubbles that come out from the pipe of the first injector, and when I charge the battery everything goes a little bit more faster.